Digimon Storytime Stranger just dropped, and Japan can't keep it on shelves. Steam hits 84,000 people playing it at once, and the fandom is split right down the middle, but positively so because half are crying tears of nostalgia while the other half are screaming into their digifarms of joy. Let's talk about how this game somehow saved Digimon and how the future is gonna look. Yo, what's up guys, Parallel here and welcome back to my channel. Let's see what people are saying about the game Digimon Storytime Stranger today and how they're reacting to it, the hype, the meltdowns, the memes, and yes, a few Pokemon jabs, because let's be honest, if Time Stranger keeps trending like this, Game Freak's gonna start sweating through its frame drops and start inventing freaking lawsuits out of thin air. But first, let's start with some hard data. So Time Stranger for PS5, when it comes to physical copies in Japan, which again, it's something that it's not as popular as it used to be, especially PlayStation 5 itself in Japan didn't sell that many consoles. It's about 24,000 physical copies at launch, which is not bad at all considering the usual, successful title in Japan sells about 40,000, 45,000, but that's also when they are available on multiple consoles, like as an example, Nintendo Switch or Switch 2, which in my opinion could have benefited Digimon greatly, but again, let's save that for later because that's what I'm referring to when I say let's think about the future, the near future. Then, retailers in general ran out of copies because the game was actually selling more than Bandai actually expected in Japan, and they didn't ship enough physical copies for to supply the retailers for the first week, and that's also considering not having raw numbers for the digital copies sold in Japan. Then on PC, SteamDB recorded 84,000 plus concurrent players at launch, which is insane for JRPG. That's top tier. Even Steam's top sellers list was just crazy because we had Digimon during an autumn sale on Steam and number 3, number 4 for a huge amount of time. So 84,000 concurrent. I think we are near the 1 million copies sold easily. Now instead, let's move on about what the fandom is actually talking about and actually praising of the game. And the first is of course the amount of Digimon that's in. 459 currently in the game, with 17 more coming with the DLC that's gonna release by September 2026. And of course the fact that there's also DLC incoming, so we have support. And also the story. People love the darker tone, the more mature tone the story has. The time travel was done very well. It's actually easily understandable, and people absolutely loved it, how it all in the end connects, and it's been talked greatly and positively. There's a user score on Metascore of 93, which is huge for such a game, such a JRPG that could be review bombed negatively by hateful fans. Instead of addressing some of the negatives, which is something that has shocked me a little, I've seen people on basically forums, so let's say Reddit, here around, talking about some difficulty spikes in battle. But that's something that surprised me when, again, first of all, you can choose the difficulty of the game, and the story difficulty is basically for babies. In fact, I did my whole first run on hard, and it's basically precisely as challenging as it needs to be for seasoned JRPG fans, in my opinion, and especially those who have played Monster Collectors. So it's very well done. And then the Mega and Mega Plus difficulties offer that extra, post-endgame content that we also always be begging for. Instead, some others that I actually share some thoughts with are the quality of life improvements that some people want, and those I definitely share, and I want to actually make a different separate video on that to basically give free advice to Bandai if they're open to taking it for a possible sequel or just updates that can come out with the DLC to make this game already a perfect experience and then build upon it as sort of a base for the next future installments. Another thing that I've seen some people being confused on, especially those that are closer to my age, so late 20s, early 30s, that have played the first Digimon World game, that are a bit confused that this is, as they say, more Pokemon-like as a game, just as a JRPG turn-based combat. And it's because this is not a Digimon World as the name suggests, although the World games can be very unique on their own. In fact, this is way more similar to World 3, if anything, but it is a Digimon story game, so it builds upon what was done with Cyber Sleuth, Ecker's Memory, and I would even say with World Data Squad, if you guys played that on PS2, one of my favorite games back then when I was younger. So I absolutely adore the battle system, which is not always even a 3v3, sometimes it's even like a 7v5, depending on the story and the gas Digimon. It's so well done. And one other thing that I actually think could have benefited the game a lot if it was included is any sort of PvP or just multiplayer sort of fighting, or having some dungeons you can explore with friends. These little details I will explore in the quality of life changes and possible extra content it could have added in. But again, I think this game was already enough of a bet for them that it really needed to be delivered, and they needed to test the waters with the fans and see how it was received. And that's exactly the focus of this point, because the game was very positively received, especially on PC, which I think is where they would have never expected expected it. And that's where probably the majority of the people who would have enjoyed Digimon as kids have moved, right? Because you would have been somehow more interested in tech and extra devices, you know, and anything related to computers. And that's where you are now, playing on computers. And the game is being huge on Steam. It's actually a very, very positive signal, especially because Bandai always thought that Digimon doesn't have a market outside of Japan or South Korea, where also the franchise is very popular. If you guys didn't know that, now you do. But the franchise is actually seeing a second life. I've seen so many people, they're just Pokemon fans, or like recent Pokemon fans, so you know, people that are not from my generation, let's say younger Gen Z or Gen Alpha, that are like, hey, I want to try this for the first time. I want to test this. I want a competitor for Pokemon and see how things are on the other side, and they're loving it, and that's extremely positive, especially because we have a Pokemon game incoming soon, and that's going to be a very good comparison, not on the numbers, because again, Pokemon can rely on a very solid and huge base, but on the quality of the titles. And I don't have my high hopes, but I hope that journalists are fair and do make their proper comparisons to how ZA would compare to Time Strangers, which is what I will do. So stay tuned on the channel if you want to find out. Before we continue though, let me announce the winner of the first giveaway of the copy I'm giving, because yes, I decided to give away a second copy to thank you guys for all the huge support you've been giving me lately, and that's highly appreciated. The more we grow, the more I'll be able to give away, and the more people will be happy out there, so keep that in mind. So the first winner is here on screen. I'll put the screenshot of the comment up here while I'm editing the video. And instead, if you want to win a second, like want a chance for the second copy, just leave a comment under this video and like the video, and make sure to be a subscriber, and also check out the upcoming shorts and videos related to Digimon that I'm going to upload to check out who won the second copy, and to actually put more comments under there for higher chances to win. And for the second copy, I'm going to give it after I do a challenge run for Digimon that I'm cooking, so stay tuned for that one. So yeah, to end our parenthesis on the negatives, let's say, so what the fans were not happy or satisfied with are generally, the first is menu quality of life updates. So some fine-tuning on the menus, which I also find, as an example, when I want to check the Digivolve evolution requirements for a Digimon, you cannot do so when the Digimon is in the farm, which is the moment I kind of want to know the most, because I'm training their stats, and I want to know if I've reached the requirement stat that I wanted, or the personality that I wanted. Instead, I gotta go out of the farm, check again in the Digivolution menu, go back in the farm, and train the Digimon again. So you know, that could have been easily done better. Then some balancing tweaks, because some people think some bosses are too hard. Again, this is something I totally don't agree with. I'm happy that I lost a few battles, and sometimes I hit the game over screen. That's positive, because I'm playing the game on hard. That's how it has to be. I don't want to be baby-handed like Pokemon does all these years. Third one, I can agree with, more endgame content. So right now, the endgame of the game basically is to fill your field guide, so Digivolve everyone, train everyone, and that's kind of easily doable. Then it's to basically level them up to 90, like talent them to 99, so that they can have the max level reach 99, and then level all of them to 99, which can be extremely tedious. Once you hit like level 50, 55, it's so slow, and it's very scummy that I want to also say this, that they put that XP and money sort of dungeon. That's awful in my opinion. So they could have done actually more with the outer dungeons, like some special ones where you can basically run them infinitely, more of a challenge. I hope that's coming with DLC, some sort of not infinite content, unlimited content, but like some, rogue type of content where you can go deeper and challenge yourself, challenge with your team, your resources. It can be something much cooler can be done. And then last one, some sort of multiplayer. Doesn't have to be PvP necessarily, but anything that included your friends playing with you could have been good. Even like just trading and something like that, to bring the community together more. But again, even then, I don't know if they were just risking to breach some patents from Pokemon, because at this point I don't even know what they managed to patent at this point. They patented that you can even, I don't know, say Mon at the end of creatures if they didn't exist already, because those guys are freaking crazy. But my final take is that I'm really happy to see Digimon back, and when Time Stranger we're back at full power. It's not perfect as a game, but it's ambitious, and fans actually care about it like I am, and we're trying to support it. So Digimon's pulling 80,000 players on Steam, while Pokemon textures still load 1 pixel at a time. It's just crazy to see. Now, we also had a ton of Pokemon leaks nowadays, and it just made me even more sad to think about how mistreated Digimon has been all these years by Bandai, and how they didn't believe into it. And look how positive it all is coming up as we, inside the fans, believe into it and try to push them to believe it. So let's keep on doing that, guys, as a community. Let's keep on working on that, and I think we can have some more fun in the future. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more, and bye-bye.